All right, and with that, welcome Betty, and we're so excited for session 5, part 2 on state management and SwiftUI.
Thank you, Sierra. I will share my screen. Do you see the good screen with weekly?
Yep, we see your slides and your code.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sierra, for that great introduction. And thank you, Esther, Sandy, and everyone to be there. So the weekly SwiftUI group, just to a quick reminder what it is. The slideshow is showing, maybe, yes. And yes, if you want to have to contact with me or more information, or Betty.dev, there is all what you want to know, and if you want to follow me. And so regarding this study group, the spirit is to have a routine, to do it step by step, together, with a kind way of doing. And you can ask all your questions offline, online if you want. So we're following the Apple Learning platform. Please join our wonderful Slack group at Women Who Code Mobile. You can also ask your question to all the wonderful person who are in channel. So the goals of this study group is to learn the basic of Xcode and the SwiftUI, and to create an iOS app. Which one? And this Schrödinger application. And so, as I already mentioned, we're following the tutorial, and we have an approach each week, each chapters, sometime 2 weeks for chapters, depends. I prefer not to be too long, and maximum 1 hour per week. So this is concrete. Here you can find the inputs. So today we will focus on the state management. You can, if you want, you can find all the other topics of the last weeks on the website of Women Who Code of Women Who Code, and on the YouTube channel. So yeah, regarding the state management, yes, it is a really interesting part of SwiftUI, and so we will make classes observable with observe object, new words, state objects, and environment objects, and also we will talk about events. And let me see. Yes, I want to show what we will build today. So more screen again, but also a timer with a sound. We will use a framework from Apple to add a sound. You will not hear the sound because you have to wait the end of the timer, but it's working. So yes, here we will directly jump in the link, because it is done. It is really well done, I think. Yes. So as you can see, yeah, we are at the beginning of state management. So first thing, making classes observable. You will use state, an add-binding property wrapper to define value type as a source of truth for triggering updates in your view hierarchy. So here you can find what is to make a class. Oh, it is possible to make a class observable. So to make a class observable, you have to put observable object protocol and to choose a property in the class that need to trigger a UI update when there's change. For that, you add published just in front your variable. And the class declare several published properties that update frequently during a Scrum during the application Scrum session. So Scrum timer notify any observers when the value of its published property change. So with that, you can tell SwiftUI to monitor an observable object by adding one of the following attributes to the property declaration. So state object or observe object. You use state object wrapper to create an observable object in the view. So it's allowed to initialize the object. When you create, each time the view is created, he will refresh. He will refresh this variable. So it can be really often because you create the object in another view. You don't provide an initial value for observe object. You don't have to initialize. Then you pass an instance of the observable object to the view initializer. So here you can see, but we will do it just after. But it's interesting to have a zoom out on it before. So instead of passing object into individual views, you can place object into the environment, DA, and for that you use the environment object view modifier places an object in the environment in a parent view. Then you can use the environment object property wrapper to access the object in a descendant of the parent view. So you will see that there is rules. So sometimes it's more clever not to use environment object, and you have to choose between both, because you don't need to put the information everywhere in the app, everywhere in the environment. You won't use environment object in this module, but you can learn it. And I already put all the link in the slides, so you can find all the link and also other link to understand more the concept. So now responding to events. So I follow again. Yeah. So making class observable, now responding to event. As you learned so far in this module, you can use SwiftUI property wrapper to manage state in your app's UI and respond to user interaction. So here you have the same architecture, app state, and you're responding to events, including view appearing and disappearing from screen. So maybe I add also, yes. So here you have also a link regarding events. In the slide, you have also really interesting Apple videos on it. So to create an app, you define a structure that conforms to the app protocol. By presending the definition with the main attribute, you inform the system that this is the only entry point to your app. So, for example, in the Schrödinger app, you have here at main at the beginning. In displaying data in the list, you work with the app structure when you set Schrödinger root view to Scrum view. Within Schrödinger app, in the body of the structure, you had one or more scenes that conform to the scene protocol. And SwiftUI provide primitive scenes like Windows groups, which Schrödinger uses. the system manage the life cycle of scene and display the view hierarchy that platform. So here you can, during app execution, a scene can transform between 3 phases: active, inactive, background. You can read the current state of the scene using the scene phase environment value. Sometimes you want your app to perform a set of action when the scene transitions to another phase. It's called perform. Event and state. What else? Yeah, you can find also this one in the slide. And here you can find the main events that you can add in your view modifier. So on appear, on disappear, and task. Using these modifiers, you perform action that change the state of your app when a view appears and disappears. It's obvious. Just as in the user initiative events, SwiftUI manage a view hierarchy for you and respond to the state changes by updating the view to reflect the update states. It's the important things between SwiftUI and UIKit. It's to understand that SwiftUI is like a refresh the view, refresh. And there is a tools that you can use to see how many times the view are refreshed, and that's amazing. And sometimes you have the feeling that it is too much, but it's the way SwiftUI is working. So now, get started. Yeah, also important thing to begin this state, the managing state and life cycle. If you want to continue the code as we have done the last week, you can go on my Git and download the last version of the Xcode, but you also have to download here on the website of Apple the project file, because in it you have files that you have to add in the process in the application, because there is at this step there is a lot of code with already written. So the goal is just to focus on the state management and not to focus on in the other part. That's the reason why it's really important to download and to download the zip code. I put it here. So here I have the code that I downloaded. You just to be sure, you see my screen with on the left the tutorial and on the right the Xcode. Sure. I don't see the chat. Yes, here the chat. It's okay? Do you see my screen properly, correctly? Is it a yes? I don't hear something. Yes. So I will continue. Just to be sure that I'm sharing the good screen. Okay, so now, Esther, for example, could you tell me if you see my screen properly with the Xcode on the right?
Yes, I can see properly.
Okay, thank you. Just to be sure not to be alone.
No.
Okay, thank you very much. So now, have you got a question, or I start? Is it okay for everyone? Okay. Yes. So start by adding some visual polish to the meeting timer screen. You will use this tag to draw a simple shape behind the meeting view. So in meeting view, maybe I can zoom in. Yeah, I think it's much better. In the meeting view here, embed the top level VStack in a ZStack. So the top level, this one, and you can say command click. Yes, and you embed in ZStack, this one. You can write directly ZStack and curly bracket, or you can embed also. Sometimes I notice that if you click command, if you make command and click, sometimes you don't see the menu, and you don't see the menu if you do not have display the Canva. So it's disturbing. So command click is so useful. So now, okay, so embed the top level VStack in a ZStack and move the padding to the ZStack. So the padding here to see all, I will put out the screen. Oh, it was good on the right. Okay. So here the padding is, I already have a padding. No, not here. Yes, I have to make it like this. You notice it's like just like in real life. It's not perfect. So I go like this. See here, my ZStack at the end. So I click just on the right of the curly bracket. I can see the end of my ZStack. So I have to remove this padding and put this padding here. Is it a good place? Yes, it is a good place. Okay. And move the padding to the ZStack. Add, and I can also preview at the same time, add a rounded rectangle with a radius of 16. So where? Here, just inside. So rounded. There's not auto-completion today. Xcode, no auto-completion. Rounded rectangle. Xcode is on track. No auto-completion. Okay. So radius, how many? So important with point, it's a float. Okay. And with, so you can see directly above what we are doing. So here we can I have to fill the rectangle with scrum, theme, main, color to coordinate with a Scrum list view. So here, Scrum, that theme, okay, which one? Main color. Okay, the compiler generates an error because Scrum isn't in the scope. Yes, error generated. Create a Scrum binding just above, new variable with a binding. Okay, it's not private, it's var Scrum and daily Scrum. So now in the preview, yes, you always have to add. You can remove the preview, but it's bad. It's bad to remove. So yeah, I can ask Xcode to do the job for me. So waiting for a binding, yes, but it's more easy to add directly a constant value, and which one? The one that we have created in our sample data. And the first of the array is this one. Okay. So in the preview, pass a constant, scrum binding in the meeting view initializer, and everybody is happy now. I preview. In detail view Swift, in detail view that Swift pass the scrum binding in the meeting view, pass the scrum binding in the meeting view destination. So I go in detail view, and I've got just above a list is warning something is missing. Insert scrum. Is it a good fix? Yes. So here we have to give a binding with a dollar sign, with a dollar sign, and which one? The one that we have already, the scrum here above. Okay. As the scrum binding in the meeting view destination. Okay, the compiler no longer generates an error because scrum is now in scope, and all calls to meeting view initializer pass the scrum arguments. Step 7, in meeting view, come back to meeting view, set the foreground color of the Z stack to the accent color of the scrum theme. Just after the padding here, we will add a foreground. Which one is for the theme, and this time the accent color. Set the navigation bar title display mode to inline. Same thing above. Navigation title, no, navigation bar title display mode. I want what? I want inline, not automatic, inline. Allez, come on. Okay, that's okay. So it should work. Extract the meeting header. We will now add fade to build, maybe add something. What is missing in the detail view? Oh, my dollar sign. It's my fault. Oh, meeting view. Okay. Extract the meeting header. Create a new SwiftUI view. File name meeting header view. So here, command N. It's a SwiftUI view, and it is called meeting heading view. Meeting heading header, not heading. Meeting header view. Create. I put it here. And move the progress view second elapse VStack, the other VStack, to the meeting header. So it should be here. This one in the meeting view, move the accessibility from meeting view. So I will take the progress view, second elapse, and also second remaining VStack, also the VStack. So not sure with the speaker this one. Yeah, all this is with accessibility also, but not the circle. Not the circle, accessibility value. Okay, on this part, I put it here, just inside, directly inside. So you've got all here. with the age tag. Second this tag and accessibility data from meeting view to the meeting header body. And yes, you can modify the preview layout so that fit in order not to have a preview of our iPhone with a window that is not proper to it. Okay, everything good. You can modify the preview, create a top level VStack, and move the accessibility modifier from the H tag to the VStack. So here I can add a VStack here, and take maybe only this part with the H tag inside of VStack, and put the accessibility part outside. Create top level VStack and move the accessibility modifier from the H tag to the VStack. Okay, that's good. And now that you've isolated the meeting header, you will add property to replace static data with dynamic data that you pass into the view. So yes, I have created two properties. So here I create the first one, elapse. It's an int, and the second let seconds remaining is also an int. Okay, and now I have to replace, because I added two variables. Is it now create property for second elapse and second remaining, replace the label title with a second elapse and second remaining value. So here it's an int, and in order to add second elapse, and here also we can add second remaining. Yeah, remaining. I made a mistake. Refactor, remain. Oh, maybe it's too long sometime. Remain. Remaining. Okay, so remain. Now it's good. So replace the label title with the second elapse and second remaining value, and add a private computed property named total second that adds second elapse and second remaining. So here, just above this one, private var, it's a total seconds, and to build a computed property, I have to open curly bracket. So it's second elapse plus second, oops, remaining, second remaining. Okay, so now I have my computed property. I can also add another computed property that will calculate progress and pass the computed property to the progress view. And so under total second, I will change after. Okay, I create the property and I will change later, maybe. Yeah, okay. So another private var, it is called progress. It's a double curly bracket. So word total seconds more than 0, else return 1. And to the good calculation, I say a second elapse here divided by a double, oops, with inside total seconds. Is it okay? And now I can change in the progress view with my computed property progress. And be careful with the uppercase, yes. Add the computed private property, pass the computed property to the progress view. Now you will replace, you will replace the static data. Wait. View, okay. We spell static data for the accessibility value. Recall that you set false over to read the remaining meeting time in minutes. How to do that? We will add another computed property, private var minutes remaining. What is it? It's an int computed property, curly open the curly brackets, second remaining divided by 60. Other computed property that calculate the minutes remaining using the second remaining value, because voiceover user don't have visual reference of the progress view or progress ring. You will calculate the conversion from seconds to minutes and surface the most relevant data, the minutes remaining. Remove the static data here from the accessibility value and update the text to read the remaining seconds remaining. Seconds, wake up, remaining. Oh, seconds or minutes. Oh, it's minutes. Minutes remaining. Okay, so not yet this one after. Maybe it's already mentioned to change my preview. Here. Create property and pass the new argument to the initializer in the preview now. So fix it and a constant 60 and remaining 100. Now it feels okay. Yeah, sorry. And my private property, my accessibility value here. You will make a few changes to the design of meeting header view in the next section before you integrate the view into the view hierarchy of your app. So next session. So now we will add design element to the meeting header. For that, we're going here to add another variable. So just add a theme constants and pass the theme argument to meeting header view in the preview. So I will do it in order not to forget. Here and in the preview here, I will ask Xcode. Which one? Bubble gum. Okay. Modify the progress view here with the custom Scrum progress view style that's in the started project. Okay, now you have to take the project from Apple that you have downloaded, and I don't know if I can show it. Yeah, here I've got all up starting projects, and here it is called progress view style. I think resources. No, it's the sound. Scrum progress view style. You just take this file, my screen is too big, and you can add directly. And yeah, you have to stick the target, obviously, and create group. If you do not do that, you will not be able to have access to this code. So not be able to call that struct. So now in my progress view, I can add my super progress view style. And which one? The one that I just added. It is a theme. Okay. So you will add the custom style to draw a background. Is it working now? We should have to be patient because during the process there are error code, and it's completely normal. He tried to find sometimes variable that we do not have still put in the code. So okay, did I forget something? I don't think so. Sim, okay. Apply the trailing icon label style to the second remaining label. So in the second one, don't have to make a mistake. Label style. And which one? The trailing icon. The default. Hey, here. Hey, hello. The preview. Oops. Yeah. Could be better. Yes. Is it beautiful? Yes. The default label style show the image and text in the wrong order for the design. The custom trailing icon label style reverse the order of the two views. Add top and horizontal padding to adjust. Yes, padding is missing there clearly. To adjust the spacing in the top level VStack. So just after, so in my VStack, yeah, after the accessibility, order is in the always important. Is not always, but really often important. So here I will add an array in order to be able to adjust the padding in a different place on the top, and also in the horizontal way. Yes, come on, boom. Yeah, it's better, and my preview, it's not terrible. Up. So add top and horizontal padding to adjust the padding top level. Yes, and yeah, that's it. So now add a state object for a source of truth. You using state to create a source of truth for value type models. You can do state object to create a source of truth for reference type model that conform to the observable object protocol. And we use state object for the class. So the starter project include the Scrum timer class. So as I already done, I have to search in the starter project, which is here. Again, start project. My icon are sweeter. And inside Scrumlinger, and it is called Scrum timer. Scrum timer, simply Scrum. Don't have Scrum timer, maybe in the model. Yes. So I will also put in the model. Hey, come on. Yes, Scrum timer. Here in the model. As we already done Don't forget to stick the box and the Scrum timer. Now inside we have, yeah, a class with also a pretty good documentation. Yes. So open model Scrum timer Swift and examine you can examine the class. The Scrum timer class periodically update the state of a meeting. Yes, you got inside the class, you've got a struct, all the published part, and the init part, and also method inside. The one are private, it depends if we have to use it, and also a little extension with a variable and an array inside. So the Scrum timer class periodically update the state of a meeting. The timer calls the speaker change action closure when the speaker changes and shares other important state change through published here properties. So in meeting view, okay. In meeting view, add a Scrum timer property. Scrum timer property that's a state object just above the other one. I can also do that. Yes, it's better. Yes. 1 eternity later, I change the size of the text. State object var Scrum timer and directly initiate the Scrum timer here. And the Scrum timer property, that's a state object. Everything is okay. Wrapping a property as a state object means the view on the source of truth for the object. State object ties the Scrum timer, which is an observable object, to the meeting view life cycle. So step 3, add a call to the meeting header subview that uses Scrum timer to provide the seconds elapse. Maybe, yeah, it would be cool if you can see in live what's happened. So in my V stack here, just above the cycle, there's already a space. Wonderful. Meeting, I can add my meeting view, auto completion, okay, meeting view, and it will give me all what is inside and which one I want. A Scrum timer, but the Scrum timer, this one, yes. Dot seconds elapsed for this one, and this Scrum timer. Be careful with uppercase, and this one is a second remaining. And what about the scene? What about the scene? I take it in Scrum, this one, and scene, this one. So now, wow, wonderful. Not only black things, but also all the Scrum timers and second remaining arguments. That's okay. Now we can have life cycle events in order to be able, as you can see here, to be able to tell the other view what's happened, to perform what's on appear and on disappear. So SwiftUI provide lifecycle methods to trigger. It's what I was looking for. Trigger events when a view appears and disappear. For example, you could add on appear to start an animation after a view, and you could add on disappear to release unnecessary resources when the view disappears. If you already know UI kit, it's really the same word, but not really the same way of doing. Much more simple, I think, in SwiftUI. So add an onAppear modifier in my meeting view, and just after, before my navigation bar title here, dot, and which one? OnAppear, without the parenthesis, directly with a closure, and add an onAppear modifier and call scrum timer that reset. So scrum timer that reset, and parameters. For the parameter, I will take the scrum length in minutes, and this, yes, we attended, it's already an array in the scrum that attended. Yes. Okay, the timer resets each time an instance of meeting view shows on screen, indicating that the meeting should begin. Call scrum timer starts scrum to start a new scrum timer after the timer resets. So also here we'll add timer, which one? The start scrum. Yes, and on the add, same thing, just add a disappear modifier and call scrum timer stop scrum. So when the view will disappear, this one, without parentheses, but with curly brackets, we stop the scrum and disappear. Okay, the timer stops each time an instance of meeting view leaves the screen, indicating that the meeting had ended. Can I continue? Yes. And now we will extract the meeting footer. Yes, because we need the footer now. Yeah, meeting view. Yeah, we will add an indexation. You will extract the meeting footer into a subview of meeting timer and add logic to determine the speaker number and name. You will then add calls from the Scrum timer class to advance the timer to the next speaker. So create a new SwiftUI file named meeting footer view, that's Swift, and extract the H tag from meeting view Swift to the meeting footer view body. So command N again, SwiftUI view, and yeah, and it is meeting footer. Don't make a mistake. Footer view. Okay. Very good. And the meeting footer view, it is not really order. I put it here again, and I will go in the meeting. From it is in the meeting view and only all the H stack. Yes, I left the circle. I will leave the space for sure. No, this one. Okay, instead of the text, I will put my H tag. Yes. And what about property? You can set the preview, yeah, here at the good size. So here preview layout, and it is called size that fits to the meeting view body. So now the property, add a add a speakers property of type scrum timer speaker, and in the preview pass the meeting footer view initializer an array of speakers using the speaker property on daily Scrum attendees. So at the beginning, I add property, let's speakers, and it is an array of what? A Scrum timer that speaker. And for everybody to be happy, I will fix it and take in it what, hoopla, click daily Scrum, my sample data, and the first data of what? Of my array, and inside my attendees, inside the attendees, there is also an array of speakers. Yes. And add a skip action closure property to the view and pass an empty closure to the meeting footer initializer in the preview. Yeah, because I'm added a variable here, var skip action. So void, void. So now you want also his own variable, and I put just nothing. Skip action, you will use skip action to allow user to skip to the next speaker. Yeah. Here now we'll add a computed property, add a private computed property that determines the speaker number, where just above this one with more space, private var speaker number. Is it okay? What is it? It is an int, and it could be nil. So guard, guard, let index, in order to know the place, the index of the speaker. So here now I can directly, yes, put curly bracket to be comfortable with where this one is completed. Else, what if it is not? Else, return nil. Return nil. Guardlet indexed speaker, that first index. So missing return getter expected to return. Oops. Prefer keep just near, yeah. That's okay. Okay, and now it's could return the index plus 1. So you got the getter, and Scrum timer marks each speaker as completed when their time has ended. The first speaker not marked as completed becomes the active speaker. The speaker number property uses the index to return the active speaker number, which you will use as part of the footer index. Yeah, I have now to implement this variable, add another after. I will implement after, add a private computed property that checks whether the active speaker is the last speaker. So again, above this one, I will add private var is last speaker. What is it? It is true or false. It is a bool. It is a computed property. You want something, you want speakers that do up. last. And it will be happy if it is all satisfied. And yes, I will do it with curly bracket directly. Sometimes it don't act it properly. He had a parenthesis, so I prefer remove everything and code only directly curly brackets. And is it okay? I have maybe it's missing a one. The check whether the active speaker is the last speaker. This property is true if it's completed property of each speaker except the last speaker is true. You can get the same result with reduce by returning speaker drop plus reduce to $0 and $1 is completed. Okay, and now another private computed property that returns information about the active speaker and pass it to the text view. So just above, another private variable which is called speaker text. What is it? It is a string. And you want to return something directly by searching the speaker number. We cool things, yes. And the new Xcode, he directly write the code for you with else return, not all the code, but a major part. No more speakers. And so guardlet speaker number equal speaker number, else return no more speaker, and obviously he wants something. Oopla. I'm still inside. Yes. And something to it. You want to return what's a string because we have announced that it is a string speaker, which variable auto completion. Okay. This one and of speaker number on the total speaker number, no count, no speaker on the total of speakers, total speakers, and how many can the number of elements? Yes, okay. And pass it to the text view. So now we have to pass it instead of this one. So speaker text. Okay, the property return speaker X or Y when there are remaining speakers, or no more speakers when the meeting exceed the allocated time. Wrap the H tag in a V stack and add an if statement that displays text last speaker when the active speaker is the last speaker. So in my H tag command, click no, because I have an error, so it will not be happy and don't give me what I want. Yeah, yes. What do we want? Embed in a V stack. So now it is embedded, and in it I want to have it's really easy to be loose in the if statement sometimes. So here I have to add text, and the text is last speaker. And what's happened if this if is else? So I put text space button and also accessibility, voiceover up inside, and I think it is good. Control B to see if it's building. Update, it seems good. Yes, it's good. Update the button action to use skip action. So inside at the place of this one, I will put an action, which one, the skip action. And add bottom and horizontal padding to the top level VStack. So the top level VStack is this one here. I click on the left on the VStack to see the end. And I add, we have already done this at different place, an array with where at the bottom, I can make resume. Bottom and horizontal, horizontal, horizontal. Okay. So now we should have, yes, the bottom. In meeting view, add a call to the meeting footer view, passing speakers and the skip action. So where in the meeting view, I think I left just above circle. Yes, and to see in live that cool thing. Yeah, here just above circle. So yes, I have my meeting footer, and I need an array, so I will check for scrum timer array of speakers, and also this one script timer. Oopla. No. Hey. Mistake, always the same mistake. Scrum timer, yes. And what I want, a skip speaker, skip action. Okay. So add a call to the meeting view, passing speaker, and skip the action. Build and run the app. Verify that you can speak speaker and that the second elapse label advance. And yes, you want to run the app. Okay. It depends on the time. My computer is burning. Woohoo. So now I want to check, and I speak speaker. So yes, speaker 2, speaker 3, speaker 4. So it's working, and but things are missing. For example, the sound, and now we'll use a sound framework from Apple. And so in meeting view, in order to have sound, we have to import a framework after. Okay. I used to do it in alphabetic order, so I will follow the tutorial. So AV Foundation, and I will add a player property that returns AV player that's shared being player, and after we have to take the file in the startup project that we have downloaded. But before that, after state object, yeah, it is a private. It's stay in. It is in this view. It is not called in another place. Prefer not to. And here I will take what is nested in my shared AV player, shared ding player. There is nothing because I need to take at that return. Yes, AV player. I need to take my file and resources this time. don't know if they took all the model. No, they're missing the model, obviously. Yes, which is nesting in the div. So here in the model, we have this one. I try to call something that doesn't exist. So I will take the boss. I will take this one. And also the sound. Is here. And also let's just resources. I don't need to create another. Yes, resources. So in it we have the thing one. Maybe it's not working. We will see. Oops, sorry. So here now I've got my shared link player that I was trying to call. So ev player that share link player. Okay. The model fine in the starter define the shared link player object which play the ding wave resource. In on appear at the speaker change action. So in on appear just above, no, yes, just above the start scrum, I will call my scrum timer speaker change action. Yes, like this. Scrum timer calls this action when a speaker's time expires in the closure, seek to time 0 in the audio file. So I will call player, and now I will seek to time for what? For 0. Values that represent time 0. Yes. And play the audio file. And in the closure, yes, in the closure, speaker change action at the same times. I will player that play. Okay, build and run. Yeah, just verify that the meeting view show a rectangular background. The elapsed and remaining time label dynamically update. Audio plays when the speaker time is up and the progress view update. I will let you try. It works. and yeah, that's it for today. Is it okay for everyone? Have you got a question? And we will next time we will finish this part and beginning the other, depending on the time left. And the next time will be next week, same day. Have you got questions?
Really look into where that data is coming from, actually.
Thank you, Betty. For everyone here, thank you so much for joining us. And I know Betty just mentioned it, but we will be back next week. I think the topic is concurrency and persistence, very important topics. And again, we have an event tomorrow on Twitter Space, and then next week is also Connect Recharge. So we hope to see you at all of our events, or at least some of them. Betty, thank you so much for presenting today. This will be on YouTube very soon to continue our series of SwiftUI study group. And we will see you all next week.
Yes. Bye.